Who's been the best interview so far, be honest?
You guys.
Yes.
Already.
Well done. Well
Just
done.
saying,
I
Cop
like it.
Squad is
Nice shirt.
your shirt rules.
Oh, right.
Oh, thank you.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, but check this thing out.
I love that.
Where'd you get that?
We decided we need to make one
Yeah.
with the entire cast because what this is
This is-
it's the crew band called Lucifer's Disciples, and Tom, of course, sang.
Yeah.
I did a little backup, and we won a battle of the bands both years. We were up in Vancouver. Yeah.
How many bands
Smoked
were you?
Arrow, smoked.
Also, it's
So,
TV
yeah.
show type thing.
Yeah, shows that were up
Yeah,
there.
take that arrow.
Yeah, take it.
On record.
This is on the record.
Yeah.
Your turn,
It's
arrow.
already been tweeted.
Yeah, gauntlet thrown.
So, season 2, ending.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, Lucifer
Yes.
died.
Yes. What's the last moment? Be honest.
but we are bringing God into the show.
We are bringing someone named God into
Someone named God. Well, it could be God. You have to tune in.
We're going to
We've
tune
not
in.
been set.
Just tell us.
So, let's just say that a man named... That's totally fine, yeah. Just control everything, right? Cool, yeah. Make sure you act out the last scene.
She did.
A character
So-
named God Johnson is introduced. God Johnson. And God Johnson. So is he God?
You're
or
right.
not? I
Well, it's
don't know.
Mazikeen Smith. You might see a theme in
Wouldn't
our...
Lucifer know if it's God? Or he wouldn't because he's taking human form.
Well,
See.
it's going to be very confusing because there are some things this person knows that a normal human would not.
Yes. So the question is this actually my dad or is this a crazy person? And that's the episode, and that's the fun of it. And we have Tim Amundsen playing God Johnson. So he's a guy who you'd believe if you were going to cast God, that could be God. But he's so good. He's just so charming. But that's the question of the episode. So, and that's one of the big sort of pieces of our back five as we wrap up season 2.
So it'll be a question answered in that episode?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, well done. Good question.
Yes, definitive.
Something we have yet to answer. Good call.
It's interesting though because sometimes you might say, well, is it controversial at all to put God in in a dramatic TV show? But of course you've got the devil as your leading man, so I guess it really doesn't matter at that point.
But here's the biggest thing, and one of the big toys of the episode is Mom's on Earth. So if Dad's on Earth, what happens then?
And you know what? They used to really love each other at one point. Quite a volatile relationship, I think we can see, because of course she was in hell for a spell. But there's a deep, the opposite of love is apathy. There's none of that going on. So there's.
That's the
some
question. I
interesting-
think that's a big question that we play with in the episode. So that's the funny thing is, so much of our show is taking these weird, crazy ideas, like a guy walking around saying his name is Scott Johnson and us wondering if that's true, and then going, okay, what's the family dynamic? What's the character? Well, right now our whole season's been about Mom on Earth. And a big part of that is God's always up there, and so I'm here, and I can show you my love, or I can show you my manipulations. But what if God was here too? What would
if
that
God was
do?
one of us?
Just a slob?
Well, Jonah Arcadian, let me
I love that show, by the way. It was
That's a good
really
show.
good.
Really good show.
With my old boss, Barbara Hall.
Are there any sort of thumbnail? I know since you're renewed already. I mean, in general terms, where do you want to kind of bring the show? In general terms, I'm not looking for spoilers, but since going forward, I mean,
I think so. Season 1 was about daddy issues to me. Like it was about him dealing with his father controlling him. Season 2 is about mommy issues. So the question is, all right, we got dad, mom. What does season 3 focus on? And a lot of what we've been discussing is it's just about himself, his own identity, who he is, and exploring that. And so that'll be a big thrust of it, and finding the way, figuring out where he is with Chloe, with all the other characters. That'll all feed into that thematically, but we always want to go back to the metaphor, to the
I think at the conception of the show, it's always been about the rebellious son, sort of wayward son, and he's an eternal teenager. So if he explored, I mean, issues with his father will never be resolved, but he explored that quite a bit in season 1, as Joe said, Mom in season 2, and in season 3, I think it's time for the teenager to completely look inward and stop pointing at Mom and Dad like it's your fault a little bit and figure out what he's about.
And he's learned a lot of that with his time with Linda too. Like that's part of the trick in a really good way of having a therapist is he can't keep taking too many steps backwards. Like he has to get a little bit of self-actualization, a little bit of self-awareness, but he always still needs to maintain being that rogue that we love, that guy who can deny enough to himself that he can do some really stupid stuff that's really entertaining and still learn something from it because there was no malintent behind it.
Yeah, we don't want him to get too self-realized because he just won't be fun anymore. You know what I mean? So he will forever. We always say, you know, one of the kind of rules of the show is he always tells the truth to everyone. He doesn't lie to anybody but himself. He's just not self-aware, so that takes him a lot longer to figure out.
Hopefully a couple hundred episodes.
Yeah, that's right. Tell about it. Yeah, no.
It's part of the thing for season 3. I'm sorry, speak. I'm taking over. I apologize.
Well, I was going to ask, so one of the themes of this season 2 we've seen in the background is Amenadiel and kind of dealing with his fault.
Yeah.
So how much are we going to see of him interacting with God Johnson, whoever he is, and dealing with what's happening to him?
Mm-hmm. Well, Amenadiel, whether he deals directly with God Johnson or not, what he's really looking at, what he kind of figures out by the end of this season, I think I can say, is that a lot of his, because he's been losing his powers, he's been steadily, and he feels like God has abandoned him, has lost faith in him. But maybe really the question is if he's lost faith in himself, because what we also try to explore with God is that God's not making anybody do anything. It's all our interpretation, or our characters' interpretations of what they think he means.
If only there was a metaphor in life to that.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll never find it, but yeah. Sorry, no, go.
I'd ask you a similar question that comes on. Are we going to see any more characters based on the comics coming?
This season, I don't think so, but we do have an Easter egg that I slipped into an episode that hints at least one more character to come.
Oh yeah.
So I
Will
will.
be in the back 5,
Yeah.
or?
That will be in the episodes that are moving to season 3.
Okay.
But and by the way, all of those episodes, we've been calling them standalones when we talk about them, but they're really not, because they're basically episodes that start new story. Like there's one that focuses on Maze a little bit more. There's a flashback episode. There are episodes that we're gonna, once we air them, the next episode's gonna jump on the story from it and move it forward. So hopefully by the time you're watching them, you'll be like, was that one of the standalones?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure.
We're planting little mythological nuggets in things with just a one line, and you'll go, well, wait.
And one of
rewind.
them
What did
is
she just
one of
say?
the characters from the books who happens to be a favorite of mine. So this is, and I have no idea how to bring this character in, but this is me locking us into it.
Okay.
See, I was thinking about
exactly.
about something else in another episode of one of the
So we've got
standalones.
2 now.
Not going to tell you. No, we were actually instructed not to talk about the standalones, but we can't help it because we're so excited about them.
That's the thing is we've got all of these episodes that people haven't seen now, and we're really, really happy because, for one thing, the 5 building up are just really, I think, satisfying and driven, and then the back 4 are weird in a really cool way. We're playing around, and we're really just sort of we're one's a little funnier, one's a little darker. One's got a lot more music in it. It's us sort of saying our show can be a lot of things, and we're actually going to take that lesson into season 3, because we found that when we diverge just a little bit, we get a lot more to play with.
You can go deeper into an individual character in these episodes because they can move anywhere in the season, so we can't tie them to the overall arcs. That's the main thing about them. It's not that they're standalone, because we do plant little nuggets of mythology in them, or go deeper into a character, learn more about a character. But
They don't have to be watched in a particular order.
that's right.
Exactly.
You can watch them, anytime.
Though in the end, you'll probably want to watch them in the order.
As
We
God
sort of
intended.
cheated when it came to standalones, basically.
Whereas
He has a
Lucifer-
plan.
There it is.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much.